Hey, everybody. Thank you again for joining my podcast. I have an awesome guest on. You are on Healing and Made Free with Jana Boynes Ministries. I have an awesome guest, somebody who's near and dear to my heart. It's my niece who is openly living a homosexual life or a lesbian lifestyle. I asked her if she would do an interview with me, and she boldly says yes. And I believe she did it because of the relationship we have. And we're going to talk about that, the pros and the cons, what she likes, what she don't like. She's going to be totally transparent, totally honest with me. No questions, off limits. We're just going to get started. Bree, thank you for joining me on my podcast.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I sent you some questions, and the first thing I want to start off with is tell me a little bit about you. I know, you went to college. Tell the viewers how old you are. You went to college, you got a degree. Let's start there.
All right. First, my name is Brianna. I'm 25 years old. I went to Chain University, Pennsylvania. My studies is communications with a minor in sports management. I played basketball for almost my whole life. I went overseas, got a little bit of experience in Spain. And now I work with Amazon.
Yeah. Well, you know me, your aunt, I don't know what it is. It sounds like a little echo going on. I don't know if you can hear that, but we're going to try to ignore that sound. So you went on to Cheney University. We know you went overseas to play basketball because your family helped support you in doing that.
Yep.
You have a great supportive family who loves you dearly. However, you have an aunt who travels the country and speak on this issue of homosexuality. We're gonna get into that. You have 4 siblings under you. And is it pressure to, or to have, do you think there's high expectations, let me say it that way, put on you because you're the oldest?
I do think so because I feel like once you're like the older sibling, all your younger ones to look up to you, make sure they do the right things. You don't want them to do negative things. If you do something, you don't want them to make the same mistake. You want them to be better than you. And I want that in all my siblings. I want them to be better than me. So I do
And
think I have a high expectation.
you have do you think your parents put high expectations on you being the oldest?
Yes, of course
How
they
so?
do.
How so?
They just, want if somebody gets in trouble, they should always be like, do you think they did this when they was this age? You always get that backtrack. You always get that. You always all the time.
Yeah. It, your grandmother is my oldest sister,
Yes.
and you are the oldest grandchild because she only had one child.
Mm-hmm.
And tell me about your relationship with my older sister, who is your grandmother.
I love her dearly. I love her to death. That's like my ride or die. I could just
She,
call her, we'll sit on the phone, laugh, all just making jokes. We'll
yeah.
go take car rides to the food stores, to the mall, with just all jokes. It's like a good
Mhm.
bond we got. If I
And
need
you
her, I'll
even
call her. She's right
and
there.
you even take vacations with her, your mother, and
Yep. Yeah, we just went to Miami in July, and
yeah,
that was a ball for her birthday. It was a ball for her birthday. We had so much
yeah.
fun. It was a great experience, and she still talks about it to this day.
They are the days that I miss, being so far away from home, not being able to, come hang out with the family and be a part of that. You just feel like you're distant, you're so far apart. But the relationship, with you and I never severed. I want to talk a little bit about that before we get into the lifestyle that you live. Ever since you were born and we can remember, do you remember the days when I used to come home from Minneapolis, Minnesota, and you and your brother and sister used to come over to my mother's house and we used to all have a
Yes.
hangout spot? Let's talk about that a
Yes.
little bit. What do you remember?
I remember us going to the mall. I think it was Plymouth Meeting Mall. We used to go there because of what's that ride called? It's inside the mall. Like the little ponies, the horses, they go around and around. We used to
Little
go there.
merry-go-round?
And Yeah, and I remember you used to come home like it was like every Christmas almost, like Christmas time. So I had this
Yeah,
one picture with me, you, and I think Fats and my mom's house with it. But
yeah,
yeah, I remember those times. You used to come home, we used to
yeah.
always do everything. Everything.
Yeah, your viewers, my viewers don't know who Fats is, but that is your brother who is his real name is Richard.
Yeah.
That's a family name
Richard.
that we call him FATZ Fats because he think he's so
Yeah.
cool, you know. And so with saying that, we've always had a bond and a relationship which never stopped. Brianna, do you remember, if at all, that I was a lesbian back when you were growing up? Did anybody ever tell you that? Do you remember anything about me? Did you,
No,
when you
nobody
were
really
younger?
told me. No, yeah, nobody really told me when I was younger. I just found
Yeah,
out as I started getting older. That's when I
yeah.
really started finding out. Yeah, but when I was younger, no, nobody really told me.
But when you were older, was I still in that lifestyle when you found out, or was I out of it? Because I walked away from that lifestyle in 1998.
Yeah, you was out of it when I started realizing they started telling me you was out of it.
Hmm. You know, there you played basketball in high school, and I remember coming home sometimes, coming to some of your basketball games. Your grandfather, who was my brother-in-law, coached some of your games when you were in
Yeah.
high school, you know. And the reason why I'm talking about family, because I want everybody, our viewers, to know that our immediate family, you have a great relationship with them. You know,
Yes.
we don't always get along, but the relationship with you alone is solid.
Yes.
Is that so?
Yeah. Like I said, it is so. Yeah.
Yeah. The relationship, you know, I was thinking when I sent you some of these questions, when did you get to a place where you just felt, I remember when you went to the prom. My goodness, you
Mhm.
know, that was a
Yeah.
beautiful picture. You know, you were very feminine, you weren't out yet, you know. When
Yeah.
did you get to a place that you realized that, you know what, I don't want to be in a relationship with a guy. I might not want to get married to somebody that's heterosexual, you know, that you
Mhm.
want to go into that lifestyle. When did you actually make that decision?
I feel like I was at like a real young age, and I felt like I was just like I guess hiding it because I didn't know if that was the right thing to do. But
Mhm,
then I started feeling like, no, that's really what I want. So I used to hang around a lot of guys, and I used to call,
mhm.
oh, that's my bro, that's my bro. I never really wanted to hang around like a lot of girls because they always wanted
Yeah,
to do girly things. So I'd rather be with the
yeah.
guys. And I
Mhm,
remember just going outside, just playing football with all the guys. And it was like this, my one neighbor, she was a girl, but she always played football too. So I used to always just go out front and just play football. And I just realized, I was like, this is what I want to do. I'd rather just
yeah,
be around the guys. Yeah.
yeah. Brianna, you hit it for a fairly long time, did you? I think we all assumed, but verbally you didn't really come out and tell everybody that you were a lesbian or you're interested in women. I think I might have known before everybody else. Is that
Mhm.
so or not? Am I missing the mark here?
That is 100% correct. I feel like yes, you was the first one. Yes. I feel like
Why?
I
Go ahead.
trust you a lot, and this is our bond. It's just our bond that we have. I felt like because you was the first person I feel like that called me, and we had a whole conversation about it. And then I feel like you helped me guide me into that direction. You helped me. Like I could say that 100% for sure.
You know, I remember sharing with you that I don't support what you're doing, but you have to find your own way, and I'm always going to be here for you. I remember saying, you know, you are the only one who can ruin our relationship because me, as your aunt, I'm always going to be here for you. I might not always support your views, but I'm always going to be here for you. Do you remember that?
Yes, I do remember that.
Did you
I
ever think
remember
that
exactly
I
what
was
was
going to
up.
do you, yeah. Did you ever think I would reject you once I found out or turn my back on you?
No, I never. I didn't get that feeling from you. I got that
Mhm,
safe spot from you. Like
mhm,
I'm safe with you. But I
mhm.
never got that rejection from you. Nope.
You know, when we talk about a safe place, and because, you know, our views are different, we agree to disagree. But we have come to a place where we're saying, look, my aunt might not agree with me. She sure don't support me. We'll talk about that. But she loves me. I can call her. I can talk about anything. She can call me. You help me with a lot of things that I need assistance with or help with, or, helping me, whether you're shipping something for me or ordering something on Amazon. We're that close. It's like I hate to say it, but I'm going to. You're my favorite niece. It's always been that because I've known you since you were a baby. You know what I mean? And believe it or not, as a niece and aunt relationship, you're my ride or die. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm always going to be here for you. So, Brianna, in spite of all that, there's a lot of families that don't get along. They don't get along with their aunt. They're afraid to tell their family members. It took you a while to tell my sister, your grandmother, and your mother. Why did it take so long for you to open up and talk about that with your parents?
I feel like I was gonna get like rejected. So I feel like they was gonna like push me away and stuff like that. But I had no other choice but to. Like it was like difficult, but I just I had to live in my truth. I feel like I wasn't living in my truth, so I had to.
Mm-hmm. And when you decided to tell them, what was their response?
I didn't really. I could say with my mother, I got like a little bad vibe from her, and then my grandma, I really didn't get really much from her. I feel like we didn't really have that conversation. I just got, oh, okay. That was just it.
Do you think that your grandmother was really being honest with how she felt? Or she
No, of
just
course
wanted to
not.
make sure you were safe and you didn't?
Yeah, that's what I feel like. I don't think she gave me her honest opinion.
Yeah, because her actions was showing something different, even though your mother and most parents that are out there listening today, Brianna's mom responded the way a lot of other parents respond, like, I don't want my child living that life. This is not how I raised them. But also my brother, your uncle, who you really didn't, I don't think you knew that well, lived a gay lifestyle. He died in 1999 and, died of AIDS. And, I lived that life and I was out when you decided to go into that lifestyle. But no mom or dad really wants their child to live a homosexual life because they know how tough it is. They know people are mean, they're cruel, and they just don't want anything bad to happen to you. Within the family dynamics, did you ever feel rejected by anybody once you started telling them along the way?
No, I feel like everybody just accept me, and I feel like they, if they have like their opinions, I feel like they'll tell me. But after that, no, they invite my partner over and stuff like that. I mean, we'll have problems then and there, but other than that, no.
Mm-hmm. You went there before I wanted to, but since you did, you talk about your partner, which is, I think, a hard spot for me because I don't want you in that life. And
Yes.
even though I've had a conversation, with her, she knows where I stand. I know where she stands.
Yes.
One time I think you reached out to me and say, hey, can you send, Sydney a book? She wanted to read my book and she did,
Yes.
which she didn't agree with a lot of stuff, which is okay. You don't
Yeah.
agree with a lot of stuff, but our relationships are different. And it's hard for me to want to invite, a same-sex couple to my home, because I don't support that. Do you feel that, and always be honest, I've drawn a line in the sand and you know where I stand with this issue? Let's talk about that. And I want to know how you feel about that.
No, I feel like you do. I mean, I feel like everybody should have that line where they stand, like, if because you're against it, so I should respect your properties. Like, if you don't want that in your house, then I should respect that. And that's like the same on my end. If I feel like, oh, no, you're against that, I don't want you in my place. I feel like you should respect that too. So I feel like everybody lines that you shouldn't cross when it comes to stuff like that. So yeah, I
Thanks.
really respect yours.
Thank you for bringing that up, because most families don't respect each other's boundaries. I travel the country and speak on the issue
Yeah.
of homosexuality, trying to help people come out of it. And
Hmm.
sometimes I feel the gay community is trying to, um, pull me, their way. And I would like to see them come to know Jesus as their Lord, God, and Savior in a way that I know him. A lot of, people that are living a lesbian life or a homosexual life, feel like they're Christians. And, I think it's oxymoronic. You can't, serve two masters. You're either going to serve God or Satan. You came to my conference last year in June.
Hmm.
You came, Sydney came, your girlfriend came, my nephew, your brother came. Let's talk about that. What did you think
Okay.
about the conference?
I loved it. That was my first conference. I loved it. Like I said, I wanted to see how people looked at the LGBTQ community. I never had got a chance to see that for real. So that was my first time seeing how everybody thinks about us, how everybody views us, and just like, all the negative things they think of us and what do they feel like with suicide. I feel like, yeah, everybody commits suicide, but I don't feel like it's all from just LGBT community. I don't
Hmm.
think that. People have other problems at home, school, and with their friends and other places. So I don't feel like that's a why the suicide like percentage is up like that just because of us. But
Hmm.
overall, I feel like, I just wanted y'all point of view just to see.
Hmm.
And hopefully one day they'll understand our point of view with the LGBT
Hmm.
community.
I don't want to not bring up suicide. We know suicide rate is on the rise with
Yeah.
millennials and Gen Z. And
Mm-hmm.
you are Gen Z. You fall right in that category of age group. You're 25. Gen Z is about 26, I believe. And a lot of times people blame Christians for not accepting the gay community. And that's why they are committing suicide. But for me, I believe that there's so much trauma in their lives that they haven't dealt with. And one thing starts piling on top of the other. And then they just get to make a decision that they don't want to live anymore. Is that what
Yeah.
you sense, or you feel something different?
No, I think I feel something different. I feel like it's probably because of the support that they're not getting at home. So I feel like when they don't get that support they get at home, I feel like that's their only option. They feel like they don't want
Hmm.
to be here anymore because they don't got that support. So it was like,
Hmm.
well, you're not going to support me, then I'm just going to do that. I feel like
Hmm.
that's the reason why. It's just not just because of how people talk to us and stuff like that.
A lot of times, Brianna, you know, there's things that traumatize people in their childhood, and they
Hmm.
haven't dealt with those issues. And when we become adult, it's really our responsibility to get the counseling or get the help that we need so we can start dealing with them. Like myself, I think since my mom,
Hmm.
your grandmother, passed away, I put myself in counseling to deal with some of the things I dealt with as a child, being raped, dealing
Hmm.
with a tough mom. What my, your great grandmother was like. My
Yeah.
mom was tough. And your mom was tough too. You went through some things. Your dad wasn't around when you were growing up. He is
Hmm.
now. And sometimes I think not getting that, um or not having a good relationship sometimes with mom, we start
Hmm.
looking for, um we look to another woman in a homosexual life, to try to take the place of something we didn't get as a child.
Yeah, and I agree with you. Yes, I
Yeah.
do honestly agree with that.
I want to bring up, let's go back to the conference. How were you treated at the conference by all the people? You said you enjoyed it because afterwards you're
Yeah,
like, I'm coming this
I
year's conference. As a matter of fact, let me travel with you. I'll run your book table. And I said, yes, I would love for you to travel with me.
yeah. I
Go
was
ahead.
treated honestly very, very well. Everybody came to me, introduced themselves to me. I introduced myself. It was being nice. I was being nice. So
Yeah,
I got that. I got a lot of love from them people there at the conference.
they did love you.
I met a lot of new people. A lot of people.
Yeah. Brianna, I took you away from the conference and took you to my home by
Hmm.
yourself. I want to talk
Yes.
about that for a minute. why did I tell you that I wanted you to see my home, which, you haven't, and left, and your brother seen my home, so I didn't need to take him, but I didn't take your girlfriend with me.
Yes.
Why did I tell you that I was doing that? Do you remember?
Yeah, that's just, it's a respecting of your home. That's you're against it, so that's your respect. And I paid that respect to you.
Yeah. But I always say you're always welcome in my home, just not as a couple.
Yes.
Yeah. How did that make you feel though?
It didn't make me feel any type of way, because it's just a respect thing. You're my aunt, I'm going to respect you, and you respect me back.
Do you feel that from the beginning, when you first start living a lesbian lifestyle, you and I set boundaries early in the game, like right away, like, hey, this is how I feel. You told me how you felt, and we respected each other's boundaries. That's why we remain to be close and have the relationship that we have.
Yes, we definitely did. I feel like when we first had that conversation, we got everything out right then and there. And ever since then, if I had a problem with somebody in the family, I would have called you, and we'll sit there and talk about it. And you're like, maybe they're feeling this type of way. You help me. I feel like you understand them, and you can help me understand.
Do you think that I harp on you, or try to get you out of that life every time we have a conversation?
No, I don't get that from you. No,
Yeah.
I don't get that from you at all.
I'm hoping that the love of God will one day draw you to a repentance. I'm hoping that one day you'll get so sick and tired of it that you'll want to walk away, that it's just not doing for you what people say it will do for you. That's my hope. Brianna, you and I have talked about this one time before. The world calls it a marriage. I call it a civil union. Is that something you ever thought about or are thinking about?
Yes, I think about marriage a lot. I do want to get married to my partner, which is my girlfriend, Sydney. I feel like we do have those conversations. So yeah, I do plan on getting married. Yes.
And me as your aunt, what have I said if you have a, civil union?
You said that you will not get a gift and you will not be attending. And I respected that.
Yeah. But I love you.
Yeah, of course I know you love me, and I know you just want to have your presence there.
100%.
Yeah.
Yep. And I want to share with our viewers another way that I show my niece that I love her. When I went home to view my mom's grave, a few weeks before Christmas, Brianna picked me up. She took me to the cemetery, and she was moving during that time. She was living with her girlfriend, and it was important for me to help my niece pack the truck. I didn't, get to, see her place. I probably would have the next day, but her two brothers wind up helping her, and her aunt had an attitude, so I didn't get to help. But I did come to your home while your girlfriend was there, your younger brother was there, and I helped you pack your truck. How'd that make you feel, knowing that I would do that because I wanted to help you?
Yeah, it felt great that we had another extra family member coming from Texas, traveling and doing all that to just come and help.
Yeah.
Like I feel like you wanted to have like a little bond going on with me. Just a little activity, movement. Even though you was in aches and pains.
I was, man. My back was killing me. It still is today, but there's nothing I can do about it. I want to talk about something that you sent me not too long ago. Sometime last year, you sent me a video. It was just out of the blue, and I watched it, and it just crushed me. But you sent me a video, and you said, this girl is saying everything or articulating everything that you want to say, but she is saying it for you. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
What,
yes,
am I saying that right? Or
yeah, it was, because I was like, it's hard for me to try to explain that to somebody. And then I felt this video, and I was like, she's saying everything that I wanted to say. She's saying it for me. So that's why I sent it to you, because I know you'll understand me.
I
So and
did.
then I sent it to one of your friends,
Yep.
Carmen, and
Yep.
we had a conversation about it. And I said, that's everything. That is legit everything how I felt.
Yeah. Before I go further, Carmen, I won't say what she does or what her husband does, but she was at the conference. She had a chance to meet Brianna, and Brianna, has an opportunity to talk with her on a regular basis. And I just wanted to put Brianna with somebody that I trust and that I knew, wasn't going to try to have a sexual relationship with her and that could mentor her, even though she doesn't support those views. I wanted her to have somebody outside of me, but other godly Black women in her life that wasn't going to judge her, don't support her views, but wanted to be there for them, for Brianna. And Brianna and Carmen has really bonded and have a great relationship. So that means a lot to me that you keep in touch with her.
Yes.
Brianna, can you remember any of the things that were said in that video?
Let me see. I know one. I think one thing she said was how when she's dating a woman, she tries to get things out of a woman that she didn't get from her mother. I do remember that. That was probably one thing I really do remember from the video because since it
Mm-hmm.
was last year, so
Mm-hmm.
that's the only thing I do remember.
That was one of the key things because, your mother, my niece, you're my great niece, and it's hard for her,
Mhm.
to see her oldest or her one of her children in that life. And I know she never expected that, but this is where you are right now.
Mhm.
And we have come to a place to accept that. I pray for you. I'm still believing by faith you're going to walk away. What I want my viewers to get from this interview with you is that you can have a relationship with a family member, with your son or with your daughter, whether they're transgender or fluid or lesbian or gay, and not try to change them, because we can't change anybody. You can't even change your spouse if you're in a heterosexual relationship. You just got to work on you and trust God to do what he does best, is to change people's hearts. And if they're not willing to, then that's the life that they choose to live. That's the way the relationship is going to be. But we have to let people do what they feel is right for them at the time, even if we disagree with what they're doing. How do you feel about that?
I feel like that's a good thing to say to the parents out here that are struggling with that, with your son, daughter, or whatever family member that is dealing with that. I feel like you really, that should be a reason parents should be like, oh, okay, I'm just gonna, you don't have to support them, just be there for them.
Right.
You don't have to support nothing they do, just be there for them because they're
And
they're
not
going to
kick them
need
out of
you
the
at the end.
house. And not kick them out of the
Yeah, I feel
house
like
when you
that's a
find
no
out.
go.
Do you
Yeah, I feel like
hear about that from some of your friends? Did their parents ever kick them out?
yes, I heard that from a lot of my friends, and now they're struggling still to this day, even with one of the family members they didn't even want to be with. So they're struggling still to this day.
Right. And they don't feel like they have a family that they can go home to.
No, they just feel like they just have friends. That's it.
Hmm.
And I
Hmm.
still, I try my best to be there for them as much as I can, and I try to help them guide. Same way you help me guide me, I try to guide them.
I want people to know that when you are living that life, Brianna, sometimes I feel like those that are living a homosexual life put really high expectations on their parents to support their views. And if you don't support my views, then you're never going to see me again. I'm not coming to your house. Do you think that's right, or you support that?
I don't think that's right. I feel like like how we have like a line we shouldn't cross. I feel like parents should have the same. I feel like if your parents doesn't support it, then don't take your partner over there if you know that they don't support it. Don't cross their lines because you don't want them
Mhm.
to do the same. So I mean,
Right.
if their parent is inviting them over, your partner over, then okay, then they can't say, oh, you're disrespecting me and all. You can't say that. because you're allowing that person to come over. If they don't
Mm-hmm.
mention nothing, then you can't assume that we're going to know, oh, we're just going to go over there. You can't assume that we're
Mm-hmm.
going to know if nobody speaks
Right.
up about it.
Right. Your siblings, how do they feel about you living a lesbian life?
They don't look at me no type of way. They still love me. They still want to hang out. They love
They bug
me to
you to
death.
death.
Yes,
They
they
bug
love her to death.
they
There's
bug
nothing
you to
changed.
death.
Yeah.
It's like you can't get away because they always want you around. And I think I told you, and we talked about family is so
Yep.
important. And that in
Mm-hmm.
spite of you, the friends that you have, the relationship that you have, always make time for family. Is that what I always said to you?
Yes. Yes.
Keep
I
the
try my
relationship.
best to make time. Yep. I
Yeah.
try my best.
And you're very good at it.
Yeah. You can say
Bri-
that.
yeah. Sometimes, huh? Sometimes you
Yeah.
don't want to be bothered. Brianna,
Yeah.
there are parents out there who has children that are living a homosexual life. And I didn't coach you on what to say. I sent you the questions I was going to ask. You didn't send me an email and say, don't ask that question. What would you want to say to Christian parents out there, even if I disagree with what you might say, because I don't know what you're going to say, but what would you want to say to them as a person out there living that life, to parents who have children that are living that life?
I would say you don't have to support them, but let them know that you're there for them. Because if they feel like they don't have nobody in their corner, they're going to start going into a dark circle. And you don't want that to happen because you don't know what's going on through their head.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want nothing to happen to them. Just tell them
Mm-hmm.
that you love them and you're still there. You just don't support them. I
Right.
feel like that's what Christian people should say to them if they have that family member that is in that life, because somebody always wants to know that they have somebody in their corner, even though
Mm-hmm.
they're not supporting them. That's just like
Mm-hmm.
with you. I know you're not supporting me, but I know you're still in my corner.
Mm-hmm.
So if they have that connection with that family member, I feel like they should be good. If
Yeah.
not, they'll be in that dark circle.
100% that I'm always going to be in your corner. I'm always going to be there for you. Our relationship it's gotten stronger, over the years. I want you to come live where I'm living anyway in this state, even though it's not going to happen. If you weren't in some type of relationship, I would have you come live with me because I would love to have you closer to me and your brother for that reason. I'm 63 years old, so it'd be nice to have you around because I don't have any kids. So I really look at you as my kids. So, but I want to just thank you for taking the time to do this podcast interview with me. I think it's going to help, families out there to realize that you can still have a healthy and special relationship with your loved ones and not support their worldview like you and I have. We have one of the most unique relationships where a
Yes,
lot of
we
people
do.
like, how do you have that relationship with her? I say, because number one, I didn't, you know, bait and switch, you know. I told her where I stood right from the beginning and we build off of that. And you parents out there, if you have a loved one that is dealing with this issue, Brianna and I, we can get on the phone together and coach you in a way to help your child. Again, Brianna and I agree to disagree. She might be able to tell you some of the do's and don'ts that, probably would push her away from me. But what she believes in, if you don't support that, it's okay. But just don't reject your child.
Yeah.
Be there for them. And maybe your child will push you away. Maybe it'll say, you know what? If you don't support me, I'm not going to have a relationship with you. Brianna and I agree that, if you're a lesbian, you're gay, or you're living a homosexual life, that's just wrong. Allow people to be who they are. You're trying to be who you are. We're trying to be who we are, and then hope that we can meet somewhere in the middle to agree to disagree. Am I on point?
Yes, you're on point.
Yep. Well, Brianna, thank you so much for being on my podcast. Look, you guys,
You're
what God
welcome.
has done for me, I believe he can do for you. He's no respecters of person. So thank you for joining my podcast again, Healing and Made Free with Janet Boynes, my niece Brianna. We're going to sign off from here. God bless you.